study arata. Have you ever heard about the palace of memory? It's also known as the Loci Method, and there are records about this back to the 50th century before Christ. It was a method used to memorize things and also to retrieve different types of information. Are you impressed? Alright, today you will learn more about this technique. Let's start explaining a little bit how it works and then we go to a practical example, okay? The theory behind the method. The idea behind this technique was to use an environment that we know very well, for example our house, our neighborhood, or a very detailed imaginary place which we call the palace of memory. And then we're going to associate different parts of information to specific areas of this environment using a lot of visual details. This is how we're going to use the brain's ability to remember images, because basically that's how the brain works. And a lot of people who have difficulty to remember abstract information such as numbers, dates, they can use the Loci method to overcome this obstacle. So let's just imagine a story with a beginning, middle, and an end. Imagine that you need to buy bread, cheese, vinegar, toilet paper, and soap. One way to do this is to imagine the road that you take every day to go to work, because it's something that you're very familiar with. So imagine that your car is made of cheese and it is parked inside of a garage made of bread, a huge loaf garage. And when you're going to your work, you cross this bridge, which you cross every day, but today it smells strongly like vinegar. The smell is so strong that you need to get some toilet paper and put inside of your nose so you can survive that bridge. You finally arrive at your office, you open the door to start your day to work, but then you step on a soap that somebody left and then you fall and everybody's laughing at you. So this is a very absurd story and it's good because it will help you to remember cheese, bread, vinegar, toilet paper, and soap. What we're doing here is to transform a list of things that apparently don't have a lot of meaning, but we put it inside of a story, which is full of details. And that story is also going in a very familiar path that we know every day, the path to go to work. Let's go to another example. Imagine, for some reason, that you need to know the word kanyeheska. Very strange word, but for some reason you need to memorize this combination. And you have a special code for each one of these letters or combinations of letters. You're going to say, okay, for C I will remember carbon, Ag, silver, He, helium, Ne, neon, S for sulfur, and Ca for calcium. But then you can also imagine things such as, okay, I can imagine a pencil that will help me with the carbon, I can imagine a silver coin, a floating helium balloon, some neon lights, also a strong smell of sulfur, and for example, something related to my teeth, because calcium. Okay, now I'm going to use the Loci method to create a story. I was at home, I opened my drawer to get a pencil, I went out to the street and I found somebody who wanted to trade my silver coin for a balloon as I entered this park. It was great, I had a lot of fun, and after getting dark, I started going back home. There was these neon lights, a lot of signs. It was very nice, very beautiful view. However, there was this horrible smell of sulfur coming from the sewer. It was so unbearable. I went back home, and when I arrived, it's kind of late, I decided to brush my teeth to get to sleep. And this is a study technique that can be very impressive. It's really powerful. And now you know the secret of the memory champions. They can code pieces of information into stories, into images, and then they can memorize impressive numeric sequences. They can go to TV shows, they can take part in international memory championships because they had this training. And now that you know this, let me ask you a very sincere question. How useful do you think it will be for you to have this power to remember random sequences of numbers or letters, or the word kanyeneska, or anything like that? Probably it's not going to be very useful unless you're trying to take part in a memory competition. It might be a little bit difficult for you to be finding the right triggers, the right associations for those pieces of data, but maybe it can be a useful, helpful technique when you study information that is very abstract, such as random grammatical rules, some exceptions to those rules, some dates, some formulas, and some specific numbers. Just be careful not to become the type of person who now has a hammer and thinks that everything around is a nail. Don't try to apply this technique to everything that you're trying to learn. In some cases, the idea that you need to create that full story and the triggers and what each thing represents can be very time-consuming. So in my research, I find that this technique can be very useful when you're dealing with extremely abstract information that doesn't make any sense at all and that you are not going to need anytime soon, that you rarely need to use. So then you can use this very ancient technique. It's a very powerful technique and take the biggest advantage of it. If you want more techniques to study and also understand how to use different types of techniques in different situations, I'd like to invite you to know our course, How to Learn Faster. And you can visit the link arata.se/howtolearn.